I call to order the October 4th, 2016 meeting of the Arvada Planning Commission. Mrs. Brown, would you please call the roll?
Brandy Caswell, T.O. Owens, John Kraus, David Goff,
Present.
Patricia Connell,
Here.
John Sullivan,
Here.
Steve Hannon.
Here.
I move to excuse Commissioners Kraus and Coswell from the meeting this evening. So, Commissioners, cast your vote. It won't display here because Mr. Owens. So, yeah, it displays here, but not up here. So yeah, it's 4 in favor to excuse Mr. Kraus, Ms. Caswell from tonight's meeting. The minutes of the September 20, 2016 meeting have been submitted for approval. Are there any additions or corrections to the meeting minutes? No corrections. There be no corrections. The minutes stand approved as printed. Going on to general business. There are no general business items to discuss this evening. Reports. There are no report items to discuss this evening either. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? You may be seated. Petitions and communications. This is the time when anyone may address the Commission regarding items that are not listed as public hearings on tonight's agenda. The public hearings scheduled on tonight's agenda are Village of Five Parks Outline Development Plan, Second Amendment, and Prestige Preschool Academy Preliminary Development Plan. Additionally, we ask that you hold comments you may have regarding any application that has been filed with the city or is likely to be filed with the city until the public hearing of those items where we will welcome your comments. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the Commission regarding anything else? All right. At this time, I would like to explain the procedure for public hearings. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation. After the presentation, I will ask those in favor of the applicant to speak, then those in opposition to speak. The applicant will then be given an opportunity for rebuttal. After all testimony has been heard, the public input portion of the hearing will be closed and questions will be taken from the Planning Commission. I would like to swear in anyone that wishes to speak in any public hearing matter this evening before the Commission. Please raise your right hand and swear, and I'll swear y'all in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give in matters before this Commission is the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please answer, I do. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, and please be seated. So the public hearings on tonight's agenda, which will be heard concurrently, include ODP 2016-0003, Village of Five Parks Outline Development Plan, Second Amendment, and PDP 2016-0003, Prestige Preschool Academy Preliminary Development Plan. Staff, are there any posting or notification requirements?
Yes, there were 3 posting requirements. There was supposed to be a mailing or a notice put into the newspaper. Staff did take care of that, and that is complete. There was also a mailing sent to surrounding property owners and signs posted on the property. We do have the posting log and the mailing affidavit from the applicant, and they are in order.
Very good, thank you. Are there any additions or corrections to the staff report?
Actually, there's one. On page 13 of the staff report in the conditions of approval, in condition number 3, should be, I think, towards the very end.
Okay.
What we would like to do is it's regarding payment that they will have to pay their proportionate share of costs for a traffic signal. we want to add in there the traffic signal and median. There'll be some small minor costs with moving the median for the turn lane. So it would be prior to approval of the FDP for this development, the applicant shall pay their proportionate share of the cost of a traffic signal and median at West 86th Parkway and Gladiola Court.
Thank you. Any further corrections?
No.
All right. The staff report, posting log, and affidavit of mailing are made a permanent part of the record. So staff, you'll be making a brief presentation?
Yeah, if we can just briefly summarize real quickly. So the Village of Five Parks was originally approved back late 1990s, early 2000s, and encompassed all the land from Indiana clear over to Alkire and from the railroad up north to the ridgetop. This property that we're talking about this evening is on the far west end of that development. It was shown on the original outline development plan for the Village of Five Parks as Planning Area H, and that included parcels both on the north and south side of 86th Parkway. So what the ODP is showing this evening is how they are proposing to split that out. The parcel south of 86 would stay its own planning area on the outline development plan. It's owned by a separate entity and will come in later by a separate process. The parcel on the north is what they're proposing to address tonight with the PDP as well. And they have a church that has purchased the entire parcel on the north, and they are proposing to break off a small 1.88 acre parcel on the southeast corner for Prestige Preschool. The preliminary development plan tonight then is what is being presented to you for Prestige Preschool, showing their building, parking layout, et cetera.
Thank you. Is there a representative of the applicant present? And would you please step to the podium and state your name, spell it, please, and provide your address for the record?
Good evening, Commissioners and staff. My name is Ken Toland, spelled Toland, and I'm with KT Engineering. Our address is 12500 West 58th Avenue in Arvada. And I guess we're ready to go if we'll pull the presentation up. I'm pleased to be here to present on our proposal for the Village of Five Parks Prestige Preschool Academy. It will be an ODP amendment and a preliminary development plan, as Linda had mentioned. There's been a lot of people that did a lot of hard work on this project. We're happy to be to this point, and there are several people from our team here, and they'll be willing to answer any questions you might have. This is a vicinity map of the area. There's two hatched areas shown here. One is the crosshatch area, the larger area, that shows the ODP amendment area, and the darker solid hatch would be where the Prestige school site would be. It's north of 86 Parkway and east of Indiana Street, just on the west side of Village of Five Parks. This is an overview of the existing condition. It was originally platted as Lot 1 of the Leander Parks Folly No. 1 subdivision. It's currently vacant. There isn't really any improvements on there except for the monument for the Village of Five Parks, which is in the southwest corner there. It's currently owned by the Storyline Fellowship Church. It's approximately 11 acres in size and is currently zoned PUD BP. Some of the surrounding communities include the Village of Five Parks, a residential subdivision to the east. There's the Whisper Creek residential subdivision to the north. And there's vacant land both to the south and the west. The western property, I believe, is zoned for office, industrial, and the southern property is zoned for commercial and business park type stuff. So this next slide shows kind of the proposed breakout of our proposal. We're going to show the preschool being broken out as a small lot in the southeast corner, where the remaining part of the project would be left for a proposed church. It's roughly 2 acres for the preschool and roughly 9 acres on the north for the future school site. I guess that is really it. We're proposing a preliminary development plan for the preschool, and as Linda's mentioned, as part of that requirement, we'll have to amend the ODP to allow this smaller piece to be processed separately. And that leads us to, I guess, our first request, which would be the amendment to the outline development plan. This is the current outline development plan for the Village of Five Parks. You can see it's broken out into several planning areas. I think the designations go from A to H. Our area would be planning area H, shown in orange on the west side there. It straddles both north and south of West 86th Parkway, running along the east side of Indiana Street. The amendment would only pertain to this planning area H and none of the other planning areas of part of the Village of Five Parks. And what we would like to do is divide this parcel into 3 separate areas, planning area 1, 2, and 3. Planning area 2 would be the planning area for the proposed preschool and what we would process our preliminary development plan on. Just a key point is that all the existing design guidelines and standards for the existing Village of Five Parks will still be in place, and none of that will change. And our PDP, our proposed PDP would be only for this area. No other improvements are planned for any other planning areas and such. So that would bring us to our preliminary development plan, our second request of the night. The existing comprehensive plan shows our project area as mixed use. Allowable uses for mixed use zoning would allow office, commercial, and residential uses. The preschool, being a commercial use, would be compliant with the comprehensive plan for this project. This is an overall site plan showing the proposed preschool in the southeast corner and a kind of a conceptual layout of what the future church might look like. We're proposing a full movement connection off of 86th Parkway at Gladiola Court. I think as Linda had mentioned, part of the annexation agreement and development plans, there was a proposed signal that was anticipated at this location. However, we've had a traffic study prepared with our process with the preliminary plan, and it showed the warrants won't quite be needed with just the preschool itself. So I think there's going to be some pro rata share provided from the preschool during the final development plan process. And I think she had mentioned there's also maybe some median improvement as well to lengthen the left turn pocket onto Indiana Street. I know that backs up sometimes in the morning and stuff. So as a secondary access, the preschool would ultimately have another connection out to Indiana Street through the church property. As well with this, we are proposing a pedestrian access through the site. We're going to be granting a 10-foot pedestrian access easement through the site that will head north and connect to the existing pedestrian trail that runs along the north property line of the Village of Five Parks. So that would allow some connectivity between the two developments. It's my understanding there's also be another trail that would connect to this one that would go down into the Whisper Creek residential project as well. So it sounds like it'd really be a benefit. So this is our proposed site plan. We're proposing a roughly a 10,000 square foot building. The building will be a single story building. There will be 3 playground areas along the south and east edges of the property. The playgrounds will be surrounded by a metal wrought iron fence. And we're showing a parking lot on the west side. Since this building will be kind of up on a hill, it'll be able to be viewed by all directions, so there'll be windows on all sides, and the elevations will be a front elevations on all 4 sides of the building. So it'll look really nice. Okay, and then I guess just a quick rundown of how we meet the land development criteria for this property. The required parking spaces, assuming 20 employees, would be 30. We're providing 35. The maximum allowable building coverage for the site is 25%. Our building would only be about 13% of the lot. Minimum open space, again, is 25%. We're roughly 33%. Then again, the building height is allowed to be 35 feet, but our maximum building height will only be 20 foot 4 inches. So So with that, I'd like to end my presentation, and then we're here to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
I will now open the hearing for comments from the public. First, those in favor of the applicant, come up and please state your name, spell it please, and address for the record. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor of the, is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of the applicant? Okay. Is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to the applicant? All right. So hearing nothing, we won't need a rebuttal. So at this time, I will close the public input portion of the hearing. I now open the hearing for discussion, questions, or comments from the members of the Planning Commission. Commissioner Sullivan.
I'm just not real clear on where the trail actually goes through the PDP. Can you just outline that for me?
Yeah,
I see where it comes to the top and connects in.
Yeah, the trail comes from 86 Parkway along the west side of the entrance road. There will be a concrete sidewalk running along the west side of the access road there. It will cross the access road to the north, and then it'll go to a handicap ramp there, and you can see the soft surface trail on the north side of that access. And there has been existing, actually, if I could, maybe I should go back some slides. I think you could probably actually see on that exhibit. One more, I think. Oh, right there. Oh, sorry. The trail connection is shown in green on that exhibit, coming off the west side of the access road, and then would head north through the church property and then connect to the trail along the north side of the Village of Five Parks there.
If I can help clarify. So when the Village of Five Parks was approved, there's an open space tract along the entire northern edge of that property. And in that area is included a soft surface equestrian trail. Working with Harry Johnson in the Parks Department, that trail is intended to go from Alkire towards Indiana, and then as it gets to the northeast corner of this site, it kind of turns and connects on into Whisper Creek and connects over to Indiana at that point. One of the things that came up in the neighborhood meeting for this property was that the neighbors in the Village of Five Parks still wanted to maintain some kind of connection through this property to get to that trail. So that's what this is in response to the neighbors, making sure there still is an access connection to that trail. It's just a soft surface trail.
Yeah, it's probably just my inexperience in seeing it on here, but I don't see it. It's not apparent to me where it actually goes through the property.
It's through the property. It's just that sidewalk along the west side of the entry drive.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're only approving a small portion of it, but it's been used for some time. There's an existing trail there already where we kind of just do a little soft surface tie into the existing trail that's being used, and it goes off site. So we're kind of improving the part within the preschool property itself, and then there's an existing path kind of already worn on the north portion, which would be in the church property, and would tie down into the existing soft surface trail in the Village of Five Parks.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other further questions or discussion for the commissioners? Commissioner Connell.
Just to verify, the street improvements and the lighting will come later because the rest of the area is not set for full development yet? Is that?
I believe it's more of like a traffic volume. The school is going to produce such little traffic at this time, but once the other property to the south and the church develops, there'll be a lot more traffic there. Then that would trigger the additional lanes and signals.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further? All right. Seeing no further discussion, is there a motion? Commissioner Hannan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that ODP 2016-003, Village of Five Parks Outline Development Plan, Second Amendment, located at West 86 Parkway and Gladiola Court, be recommended to City Council for approval. This motion is based on the findings of fact and the approval criteria as amended on page 8, 9, and 10 of staff report.
Thank you. Is there any discussion, further discussion of the motion? Seeing there is no further discussion, Commissioners, please cast your votes. So 4 yeses and 3 absent, so it does pass. Do I hear another motion? Commissioner Connell.
Mr. Chairman, I move that PDP 2016-0003 Prestige Preschool Academy Preliminary Development Plan located at West 86th Parkway and Gladiola Court be recommended to City Council for approval, subject to the conditions stated in the staff report, items 1 through 3, pages 12 and 13. This motion is based on the findings of fact and approval criteria on pages 10, 11, and 12 of the staff report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there any further discussion of this motion?
Excuse me, did you include the amendment to include the median and the condition?
It references the staff report is on page 13? Yes.
That also includes the staff report items 1 through 3, pages 12 and 13, and it's based on the 10, 11, and 12 of the staff report. Is that sufficient?
Item 13, the one on page 13 needed to include the fact that we are adding the words "and median" into condition number 3.
I apologize for that. Then I will, as she said, adding the median. Thank you. Sorry
you.
for the mess.
Is there any further discussion of this motion? And seeing none, it is of no further discussion. Commissioners, please cast your vote. All right, the motion passes 4-0. Commissioners Goff, Hannan, Sullivan, and O'Connell voting in favor.
Hannan also voting in favor, I think. Goff, Sullivan,
Hannan, Sullivan, O'Connell.
And, yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right, any further discussion? All right. So thank you for your presentation this evening. I think it was very well done. I appreciate you coming forward tonight. So be sure to speak with staff as to when this item is going to go before City Council. Thank you, and thank everybody else for participating this evening. Staff, are there any other items to consider this evening?
Just wanted to let you know about your next meeting, which is scheduled for October 18th, and that you had a short meeting tonight, maybe a longer meeting next time. We've got 4 items on the agenda: Ralston Valley Self-Storage, Cobe Laboratories Preliminary Development Plan Amendment, Hillside Cottages, and 5360 Allison Townhomes.
All right, thank you.
You might also, Mr. Chairman, wish to consider a motion to excuse Mr. Owens.
Yes, how about we do that? I move to excuse Mr. Owens from this evening's meeting. So let's cast your votes, please. Okay. All in favor? Goff, Hannan, Sullivan, and O'Connell, excuse me, in favor. So, anything further? For the cause of...
Yes, I will miss the next meeting, the October 18th meeting.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Oh, actually, I will as well. Yeah,
Okay, thank
I'll
you.
have to miss that meeting as well.
Okay, all right. So, good. So, nothing further. This meeting is adjourned.